And welcome to episode 660 of the Aussie Tech Heads, recorded on the 5th of December 2019. Aussie Tech Heads is brought to you by startnewcompany.com.au. Register your company fast, easy, and direct with ASIC. All documentation provided and held in your account for downloading at any time. If you're an accountant or other professional, you're also able to brand all documents with your company name. Coming soon, ABN, TFN, and trusts. Special discount codes for ATH listeners at the cart. Use ATH20 for a $20 discount. And athwebhosting.com.au. Servers operate on SSD drives. Immediate activation, SSL certificates, Aussie support, domain registration, and easy install of WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal. And we have back again Australia's two top podcasters. I'm your host, Jason Oakley, and I'm joined this week for some reason by Will Tompkinson. Hey, Will.
Hey, mate. How are you?
I got the direction right. You're over there, right?
Yeah, and you're that way.
High five.
Oh, great. Here we go. I didn't practice this.
Bam. Nice. Oh, I hit you in the head. Sorry about that. How's things going up in God Zone?
Warm. Slightly warm, yeah.
Sweating buckets.
Yeah, that's the worst part about it. The temperature is absolutely horrible. The humidity's not helping either, but yeah, and just no, that's just me in general. And just when you think it's not quite bad enough, the hot wind kicks up and brings a hot dust with it. So yeah, it's great.
And everything's still on fire around here, so nothing different there.
No, I don't notice that. You're actually getting ash and stuff at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I've had burned leaves land in my backyard. Fortunately, they'd already gone out by then, but still not a good idea.
Not what you really want. No, it's not the best of things to happen.
Not with everything dry around. And you've got a new upgrade you can tell us all about?
Oh, I got a couple of things, yeah. Sold a kidney,
hair, right?
Sold a kidney and a liver, and the way to think of it, I got one of those. So I sold it anyway, and got a new PC because the old one. Basically, what happened? It was a series of unfortunate events that led up to sounds like a movie. That led up to one failure after another. Basically, the original water cooler I had on the CPU, the pump stopped working. And so the CPU started overheating, but it was taking, because there was still water in the lines, it was just taking like 15 minutes to overheat. And I'm like, no, that took ages to figure out. So swapped that out, put another water cooler on that worked fine. And then for whatever reason, a couple of days later, that actually ran out of liquid. So it completely cooked the CPU. And then it was a matter of the board was getting old and the new CPUs wasn't really compatible with the board, so I would have had to get a board, which means I would have had to get memory. So it basically steamrolled into buying a new computer and spending way more than I anticipated. But
damn it,
the upside is that I shouldn't have to touch it for 3 or 4 years, and I can always bump up this processor in this board. It'll handle several levels above where it is. It's only a Ryzen 9 3950 at the moment, so it can go up a bit from there in a couple of years if we need to bump the speed up and whatever without having to fork out a heap of money.
Look at the quality video that it produces.
Well, yeah, we're currently sitting here. I'm recording in 1080p at 60 frames, streaming at 1080p at 60 frames, and I'm using 7% of my CPU.
To multiple stream places.
to 3 different, to Facebook. Actually, we're coming to you live tonight for the people who are watching. We've got a few people on the stream. We on Facebook, actually. But yeah, we're streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube all at the same time. So that's all happening. For some reason, the chat in Facebook's gone funky, but the other ones are working. But anyway, can't have everything.
What's new?
So, but yeah, no, I thought we'd get the new OBS. They just released a new version that's got all tricky little features and stuff. So I've had a bit of a play with that and got a couple of little different sort of things happening. So hopefully we're going back to Zoom. We used Zoom, a couple of years ago we were using it, and they're having issues after like half an hour. It would like memory buffer and freak out, but honestly now it's the cleanest, nicest picture. The audio is fantastic. So for now, we're going to stick with Zoom. Might even give them some money and have the paid version. That impressed with it. I don't part with my money easily.
To give money to OBS, actually.
Yeah, well, for this latest update, I'm very impressed with what they're doing.
For free video recording, it's out of this world.
It's absolutely ridiculous what it does. It's
Why would you
and
pay
it's
$600 to that W place?
well, there's yeah, and I mean, um, there's like the system resources to do what it does are so much lower than anything else as well. Plus, it's being open source. There's so many different overlays. A lot of guys who like majority of people who stream on Twitch use OBS because there's overlays for chat, there's overlays for this, there's overlays when they do speed runs. There's all these different overlays that you can put into OBS, and it does things. It's brilliant. So,
Nice.
but so far so good. Everything's behaving itself, and we shall see what happens. It's just up to the NBN to do its job.
Yep.
And if it can manage to do its job, then we might even successfully be able to make a show happen.
That sounds cool.
Doesn't happen often.
Should we give a go with some news?
Oh, I suppose we can try.
All right. Ford and Macca's have teamed up for a project. You don't have to worry about seeing any vehicles emblazoned with the fast food chain's famous logo. The two corporations are working together in the name of sustainability. Specifically, the automaker will soon start using coffee chaff from McDonald's to manufacture auto parts like headlamp housings and other interior and exterior components. In addition to making Ford vehicles a little bit greener, the coffee chaff, or the waste produced by coffee during the roasting process, will apparently also help the company make parts that are 20% lighter. Ford already uses various sustainable materials like soy and tree cellulose in an effort to only use recycled and renewable plastics in its vehicles. It has added coffee chaff to the list after its research team discovered it can be turned into a durable product by heating it to high temperatures under low oxygen and mixing it with additives like plastic. The material will then be turned into pellets that can be formed into various shapes. During the team's tests, they found the chaff-based material has significantly better heat properties than the current material Ford is using. They also discovered it'll allow the company to enjoy 25% energy savings during the molding process. McDonald's expected to earmark a significant portion of the coffee chaff in its North American operations produce for this project. While it's not entirely clear how much chaff that is, Macca's generates 62 million pounds of chaff a year in the continent alone, which is currently just used to make coal and garden mulch. So that sounds pretty good. You'd be driving around your car and smelling coffee. That'll wake you up every morning, right?
Well, I mean, it's not a bad thing. Look, it's same as hemp in terms of its ability to be used for multiple things. There's very few things these days that are single use in the true sense. Like, they're only single use because we're used to living in a throwaway society, but there's so many reusable products that are single use. Like it's just makes sense that they're trying to find these for different applications now.
Yeah, it's a fantastic idea.
Was it? I can't think who it is. Morgan, I think it is, who makes cars. They've been making cars for 100 years. They still make cars with timber chassis rails and things like that because it's. But now the latest one, they're doing different stuff for their. Pause, not play. They're even doing things like using hemp to make their seats. Well, they're a lot of the material they're using, that sort of stuff now. So that it's not just. Ford, yeah, okay. I know when I was doing. This is America Ford we're talking about. I don't think Australian Ford does that, but when I was working for Holden back in, what was that, like 2000, 2001, somewhere around there. And they were I was making a lot of the upholstery, the center console, the trim, the dashboard, that sort of stuff. And they were the complete opposite. Like, even the components they'd send to us that we'd trim, say they sent us a dash and we'd trim it in vinyl. If that dash had a crack or a blemish in it, we'd report that, and then we'd chuck it in the skip. They wouldn't even take their own parts back to be recycled. They just went straight into landfill. And this is only whatever that is, 15, 16 years ago. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how the industry sort of turned around a bit. But it's good too, because using a lighter material that's just as strong as a filler obviously reduces the weight of a product. But doesn't compromise the strength. So
fuel efficiency.
Well, fuel efficiency, that's part of it. But I mean, if you can make a vehicle weigh a couple of 100 kilos less, It's not only easier on, for fuel efficiency, it's easier on the brakes, it's easier on the tyres, it's easier on the suspension. So overall, the whole vehicle benefits from having that little bit less weight than it would have had. If you think about it, if you take 200 kilos out of a car just by putting...
Me hopping out.
Or me, yeah. I was about to say that. But, it's like to have, say, you've got, two adults in the back and then a boot full of luggage and then, or two, a driver and a passenger and luggage in the back and then some stuff. Like, there's your weight. It doesn't take long to add 200 kilos to a vehicle. So if you can make a vehicle 200 kilos lighter to start with, when you do add your passengers and add your luggage and add whatever else you're putting in, you've gained that 200 back, but you're back at where you would have been. So the car doesn't have to work as hard. So it's it's definitely not a bad thing. And it's like the Cybertruck, the Tesla truck they're making.
Poly version.
I love it because I love that. It reminds me of a truck version of a DeLorean. But there's a couple of reasons they did it. One, they're using stainless steel, and stainless steel hates to be bent. So why try and bend it? Work with a material that likes to be straight, make it straight. It also increases the speed of production because you're not trying to bend a material that doesn't want to be bent. You're reducing waste because you're not damaging the material. And you're making it, you're making it work for you instead of you're getting extra rigidity out of it because you're using straight lines and triangles instead of circles, which aren't as strong as a triangle, So you're gaining strength, but you're probably saving weight, or at least you're not gaining weight,
Well, they've had hundreds of thousands of pre-orders already, haven't they?
Last I checked a couple of days ago, they were up to like 220 or something pre-orders, and I think it's a $100 minimum for a pre-order. So assuming that they're only being paid in pre-orders at the moment, you got a couple of 100,000 and $100 a head, and some people have probably paid more than that.
Well, at the 23rd of November, they had 146,000 pre-orders.
Yeah, I think it's up. I think it's a bit over 200 now.
Oh yeah, pre-orders reached 200. That was the next day.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was the 24th of November. So.
Okay, so it might be up to 300 now. But I know Dubai, obviously because it's Dubai, but they're using Cybertrucks. Actually, this is one of my stories, so it's completely inadvertent lead-in, but let's do that.
Segue, son.
I meant that. I know exactly what I'm doing. So they have officially planning on adding Tesla Cybertrucks to its fleet. The official account for the Dubai Police Department tweeted an image of the Cybertruck with its logo on it saying 2020 on Tuesday.
Nice.
It actually doesn't look that much different than the Lamborghinis they have. But the news comes after Tesla CEO Elon Musk tweeted Wednesday that has already received 250,000 pre-orders.
Yep.
And this is stories last week. So yeah, Commander-in-Chief Dubai Police Abdullah Kahula Al Mari told the newspaper that the news will help enhance security presence and tourist destinations. The Dubai Police Department already has a pretty astonishing fleet of luxury sports cars, including some of the fastest in the world. Bugatti Veyron, Lamborghini Aventadors. They've got a Murcielago. They've got a couple of Ferraris. The Cybertruck will be a worthy addition to the fleet. It's clad in a thick explosion of cold-pressed stainless steel and features bulletproof windows. The unusual truck's also impressive specs when it comes to acceleration. Top of the range tri-motor with a price tag of just 70,000 US, which half the price of an F truck, in case you're wondering, can go from 0 to 60, which is 100 kilometers an hour, in under 3 seconds, and with a range of 500 miles, which is what's that, 800 k's. So basically,
the base price of the rear-wheel drive model is $39,900, and all-wheel drives will start at $49,900. So that's really affordable.
That's I mean, it's cheap. That's cheaper than the Tesla, because this is the thing. By stamping out the body panels in straight stainless, there's no work. It's literally stamp, assemble. There's none of this molding, bending, body filling, tweaking, body line adjust. It literally just works. So they save themselves so much time and effort.
They got the idea from the Unibody Max, didn't they?
I reckon they just. I reckon
It's
that he looked. He was watching the old episode of The Simpsons where Homer drew the the car that he wanted.
so it's based on the Apple MacBook Pro unibody, and it's a truck. So does that make it a Mac truck?
A Mack truck.
It's a Mac truck.
But well, honestly, I mean, everyone knows I'm a fanboy of Tesla. Yeah, look, Elon, take him or leave him or whatever, but if you know the history of Elon and how hard he's worked to get what he's got, like he literally, it was D-Day for him on the release of the Tesla, the very first, the one they did that,
Roadster.
the Roadster, like the soft top version. They literally were being kicked out of their building that day of the release. They had to sell at least, I think, 10 or something that day to pay to stay where they were. Like, he'd sold his home. He was living in the building. He'd maxed out no more banks to touch him. He'd maxed out all the investors. Like, he was tapped. He had $0 left to his, like, he didn't even have enough money to, like, have tea that night. Like, he literally was skint and determined still that the next day that first vehicle was rolling off the production line.
Yep.
And it did. And
now he's built a battery factory.
The gigafactories, they've got, 4 gigafactories now? One in China, one in, or 2 in the States, I think now. One in, was it, I can't remember the other one is Sweden or Austria or something like that. Yep. So they manufacture the vehicle from end to end in-house. The battery is basically piggybacked off Samsung's or Panasonic's. I don't have the information in front of me. It was one of those big battery manufacturers, Samsung or Panasonic. You know, they manufacture the batteries in the gigafactory now. They're producing more than their plant produces. And they've getting more and more capacity. Like they've gone from the 18650s, which was the standard lithium cell that's in laptops to vapes to like everything. Like an 18650 is the most common lithium cell on the market. They've gone to, I want to say 2700s or something. So 18650 basically means that it's 18 mil that way and 65 mil that way. And yeah, I think they've gone up a size, which is 2700 or something like that. And what it's allowed, it's only physically like 12% bigger or something, but it's like 35% more energy dense. So by doing that, that's how they're getting 500 miles out of this thing. And that's not 500 really super efficient drive like a granny, don't touch the accelerator. You know, this is like 500 miles of actual fairly decent driving. So it's designed to be used. And I mean, you think about it, that's 800 Ks. Even when you're traveling, you would very rarely do more than 500 Ks in a day. It's just too physically exhausting. And even if
I'm going to Melbourne after Christmas, I'm going to break it up into 2-day tricks.
I mean, I can do Brisbane to Sydney, or I can do Brisbane to Melbourne in 2 full days. Yep. I've done it twice. I'll never do it again.
You don't like it?
I can do it. But the thing is, like, even when you're doing that, you're stopping every, say, 3 hours to go to the toilet and have a quick snack and whatever. So even with the fast recharge, if you pull up at a town that has a fast recharge every 3 hours, if the car's got an 800k range, you're stopping every 300 k's. You've only used a third of the vehicle's range. So
go to the toilet, get snacks.
Exactly. So in 15, 20 minutes when you come out, the car's almost fully charged again.
Yep.
So it's realistic, and you don't have to stand there and fill it up. Like if it was if that was my Jackaroo only got 300 k's to 75 litres of fuel. So I got to a servo. I had to stand there for 5 minutes and fill it up. Then I'd go to the toilet. Then I'd get my snacks. Then I'd do it. So in actual fact, it's actually quicker to rock up, plug this in, and go and do what you want to do, come back and it's charged, than it is to have a petrol car. So this whole thing about, I'm worried about it running, no. If you don't plan your trip properly, okay, maybe, and it's a ute anyway, just chuck a generator in the back, you'll be fine.
Well, it's all built in, isn't it? In the console, you just say, I'm going from
it maps it all.
Sydney to Melbourne, and it says, well, if you go this route, you can pop into here and do supercharge, you can pop into there.
Yeah.
and it maps it out for you.
And you can even break it up further. You can even say, look, I want to stop every 3 hours. It'll go, okay, well that puts you here, 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 here. So it actually gives you your stopping destinations, and it goes, hey, there's points of interest here, there's points of interest here. What do you want to do here? So it tells you everything. Like, there's absolutely no excuse.
If there's an emergency, they can unlock the extended range.
Yeah, the normally in a Tesla, okay, with a lithium battery, you normally don't want to deplete it more than 80% without damaging the battery. So if they've got, you know, say they've got 500 miles range, they're only using 80% of, well, they're using less. The absolute maximum they could use would be 80% of the cell. I believe, I need to go back and check the figures, but I believe somebody did a test on it, and Tesla only has about 60% of the cell unlocked. Which means that there's actually 20% perfectly usable, but they don't top the top 5% of the sell off, and they don't top the bottom. Don't let it drop down. So you've got this top and bottom headroom that they can, in the case of emergencies or whatever, they can actually extend it. And the people who buy the wrecked Teslas and strip them and use the packs for other things have realized that the packs actually have more power than the advertised power. And everyone's like, oh, I'm being ripped off. No, you're buying the vehicle at the power it's advertised at. The fact that it has more power is no different than, say, you buy a Subaru WRX. You buy the Japanese spec model, it's 145 kilowatt. I think it's 145 or 245 kilowatts. Like, because that's the most powerful you're allowed to have a vehicle in Japan. But the thing's actually got 350 kilowatts. It actually has it. It's just only advertised at 245 because they're not allowed to make it any more powerful. So they make it more powerful and just say it's not. And Tesla's exactly the same.
With the Pentium chips back in the day, we were talking about that, I think, last time.
Yeah, they're all made as a
Pentium chips were at this level.
They're all made as a Pentium 200. Yeah, that's it. They're all made as a Pentium 200, and as they failed, they just marked them as that. You had plenty of headroom. You know, if you want to put a bigger cooler on them, chances are they'd still work as a 200.
Yeah, a lot of people did a lot of overclocking and had no problems.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was Panasonic.
It was Panasonic, yeah. I thought it was.
Led the battery cell production portion of the manufacturing, and invested $1.5 to $2 billion. But then, what was the other one you said?
Samsung.
Samsung also invested in the battery company.
Yeah, I believe they sort of went because they. Hey, Kyle, how you doing, mate? They basically I think when who was it first? Samsung, when they got involved, or Panasonic. Who was first? Panasonic, yeah. So when they got involved first, what basically happened was they basically completely depleted the supplies of batteries. This is before Tesla started making them, and then they went, "Hey, can we have more batteries?" Oh, we don't have any more. Okay, well, we'll go to Samsung and get some more cells off them. And they went, yeah, you can have them for a couple of months, but at the rate you're buying them, we're going to run out too. And Tesla went, oh, well, that's okay. How about we'll buy yours for now while you've got some, and then we'll all get together and we'll just build the production into our facility, and you haven't got to worry about it. You just make them and pump them out, and I'll take them. That's basically how the conversation went. I'm pretty sure. It's like, I need more cells. You know how to make them. I don't. Here's some money. Go and make them. That's pretty much how the conversation went.
In May 2019, Tesla announced that in order to alleviate the pressure from trade wars on its business in China, the company is pushing to rapidly start production at its new Gigafactory 3 in Shanghai and avoid any tariff.
That's the one I was trying to think of, yeah.
They started in January and said in a couple of years it'll be right to go.
Yeah, wow. And even the one... You're right there. Even the current Gigafactory they're using is only running at like 25% or something. It's not even fully operational yet. So, all right, your turn, sir. What story do you have for us?
Well, this one I think you'll find interesting. I only just found out about it. Media center app maker Plex officially launched its ad-supported video service with movies and TV shows from MGM, Warner Brothers, Lionsgate, and Legendary Wednesday. The service will be available in more than 200 countries and territories, making it the first ad-supported video service with a nearly global reach. Getting the rights to launch in so many countries was key to bringing ad-supported video to Plex, the CEO said in a recent interview. More than half of our users are outside the US. The initial catalogue will include thousands of movies and TV shows, according to Plex executives, with plans to add as many more over time. Some titles will only be streaming in some territories, while others are being made available everywhere. At launch, users will have access to movies like Rain Man, Teen Wolf, The Terminator, American Ultra, Frequency, Hard Candy, Ghost in the Shell, and more. Plex's free to watch catalogue will initially be more heavily focused on movies than TV shows, but the company plans to add more TV content in the coming months. In addition, Plex will also stream some kids' content, documentaries, and concert videos like Nicki Minaj Pink Planet, Dead Mouse Live at Earl's Court, Taylor Swift Just For You, and Electric Daisy Carnival Experience. Plex's new video service can be accessed for free through the Plex app, which is already available on Android and iOS, Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV, and nearly all other major smart TV and gaming platforms and devices, as well as the web and desktop, including Windows and Linux, and probably Mac too, I'd say.
And Raspberry Pi. And
Existing Plex users will be able to access ad-supported video as just another content source similar to their local libraries. However, the company clearly hopes that the addition of ad-supported video will make Plex more appealing to new users as well. We have millions of users today, and we hope we'll have millions more come in for ad-supported content. Plex launches ad-supported movies into a crowded field of competing services, including Pluto, Tubi, Zumo, the Roku channel, and Amazon's IMDb TV. The entire segment has seen growing interest from consumers looking to augment their paid subscriptions with free content, and demand is expected to keep growing as more consumers cut the cord. It's nice to see that ad-supported video is doing well across the board, he said. Well, I think that's really interesting, actually.
It's not, to be honest, it's not surprising.
How would you get rid of the torrenters? Why not let everybody watch whatever they want when they want? Throw in a few ads, people will put up with that. I'd even pay for it.
How long have I been saying this?
Yeah.
For at least...
And they went, no, let's instead take everything out of Netflix. We'll make a BBC iPlayer for only BBC content. We'll make a Disney Plus only for Disney content. We'll make a Hulu for Hulu stuff.
Then
we'll do Amazon for Amazon stuff.
And then we'll make them region specific so you can only use them in certain areas.
And then we'll Australia, Foxtel and Stan and Presto. And...
I've been saying this for as long as I can remember. I'm like, why do they insist on trying to prosecute people for watching something that they want you to watch? Ultimately, at the end of the day, they design a program and make it interesting so you watch it. So why not give me the option to watch it instead of not giving me the option to watch it? Like, I'm not going to pay for one show. Say, take The Orville, for example. I love that show to bits, but I'm not paying $10 a month for Amazon just to watch that one show because it's literally the only thing on Amazon I would watch. But give me 20 cents an episode. I'll pay for the whole season.
Yeah.
You know, and you suddenly get 100 million users giving you 20 cents. You know, that's 20. What's that?
Or you could just let them torrent it and get no money. That's your choice.
Would you can get $2 billion
millions of dollars, or would you like nothing?
Yeah, you know, that's. But this is kind of a good compromise. It's still a free service. We're not forking out for it. We're not being charged for the open source, because Plex is effectively open source. You can get them on routers.
It's like awesome.
You can get them on NAS. You can get it on all sorts of stuff. You can run on a Raspberry Pi. You can run on a PC. Literally, you can run it on your phone. It's available everywhere. But instead of making Plex costing money to pay for the ads, or to pay for the things, then run ads. I mean, we're all used to watching ads, whether it's YouTube, whether it's whatever.
You know what I just thought of they could do as well? If maybe for people who sign up for Plex Plus, they don't get the ads.
They probably will.
And some of that proportion of that can, small percentage, give that to the movie guys.
That's probably what they do, because you go YouTube Red or whatever it's called, you don't get the ads.
I don't care how many times I go to YouTube and they're like, you want to try our trial, don't you?
I know. No.
You want to try our trial? No. Are you sure you don't want to try our trial? We got a red, but no.
I literally... And now they're...
Okay, watch five advertisements for a 10-minute video. We got you now.
And the other thing, too, they're pushing YouTube Kids so hard at the moment, too, because of what's been going on with the whole...
My stuff's gone from YouTube.
Yeah, most of mine's gone. Guys. Most of mine's gone. I've got a bit more to get rid of yet, but it's all going to go across to... I haven't decided yet. Probably going to go across to that other one I was talking about the other day, the G View or whatever. I have to look it back up.
Word.
Something.
Wiki Wild Wild West.
Wiki Wild Wild West. I can't remember what that was called now. But yeah, I'm going to move them across somewhere else. Like, this is going to go to YouTube because this is obviously COPA, like, it's within their guidelines, so it's not going to have a problem. But yeah, YouTube's basically dying. The amount of content between that and the copyright strikes that are happening at the moment. One of the guys I watch on YouTube, he has 6,000 videos or something like that. Every single one of them got a copyright strike by a bot, and you can't mass challenge it. You literally have to do every single video one by one. He's spent the last
week.
On your
YouTube, you're awesome.
YouTube's just they're destroying himself from the inside out.
YouTube's like, here's my foot, bang, bang.
Yeah, like Sexy Cyborg, one of their largest tech, well, open source 3D printing hobby, both streamer and video content creator. She's got a million subs, and they just banned her channel because somebody put a complaint in. Like, she's been, and mind you, they haven't even given her 100,000 sub thing yet, and she goes, chance I'll never get my million one either. Yep. But it's like, she's like, I've put nearly 10 years into this channel to build it up to what it is, and they cancel it because somebody complained about it. One complaint. And they didn't just ban her channel, they deleted her channel.
Wow. I'm going to start complaining about Fox News.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother thing. Watch what's that called? I hope my brain just refuses to.
You mean like every day?
Yeah, that's it. I'll find it later, but there's a. I can't. Brain. I give up. It's all too hard. But yeah, it's, there's, and I notice Facebook now too. When you post something that it finds controversial, they give you a warning saying that. I'll see if I can find it. Let's see. It basically gives you a warning saying that this thing you've posted. Well, here we go. Try to put it up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but we'll have a look and see. No, it's a bit high. Yeah, additional reporting from Australian Associated Press. Sometimes different news sources show conflicting perspectives on the same story. You can take a look at additional reporting from independent fact-checking sites. By the Australian Associated Press, the independent site that they are. So basically the content that I shared, which is the link going to work. No, see? The content that I shared from an independent source, peer-reviewed, mind you.
Partly false information.
Apparently is partly false information because it doesn't comply with the one from their independent research. So Facebook is even managing to.
But that's political. Facebook said they're going to let any political stuff go, whether you tell them the sky is purple or.
Guess what? They don't.
So Sarah Huckabee, she's got something to do with politics, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, something. But
oh no, it's Sarah Hansen.
No, it's still
it's blurry on my end.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, it's they're banning. I've seen a lot of articles. This is the first one I've had actually banned. But I have actually seen several people post things saying, excuse me, please explain. So.
Well, Facebook and Google are getting in trouble now for all the people's data that they're taking and sharing around and selling. Yeah,
well, among other things that they're doing. Look, Facebook and YouTube are not going to be around. Google's not going to go anywhere because it's so ingrained into society that Google will stay there. But YouTube and Facebook, are really, really struggling to hang on. Especially now that they have defeated the ad blockers, and Chrome has just said, no, we're not allowing ad blockers as a plugin anymore.
Yep.
So if you use Chrome, not for in the near future, you're going to get and you've got an ad blocker installed. It's not going to be working anymore, so you're going to get ads on Facebook and ads on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. They're forcing ads on people.
Since you were talking about Google, just a quick thing that Sundar Pichai is taking over Alphabet, and Larry Page and Sergey Brin are giving it up.
Not really surprising. I mean, man, Larry Page doesn't exactly need the money.
No, he doesn't care.
It's not really something he's stressed about. Hey, Kat. Yeah, so it's I'm actually surprised Alphabet's still running, to be honest. So, Kat just joined the channel.
Hi.
A friend of ours. So, speaking of which, I got to get back on the server and play some more Minecraft now that I can play it at 800 frames.
Yay! Instead of crashing every 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so all right. I suppose it's my turn for a story.
Sure, why not?
Something that I'm quite a fan of. Now, people who don't know, so you've got Asus, who's a large manufacturer. They do everything from laptops to computers, and specifically hardware. They're a big motherboard manufacturer, and they do other stuff like that. They've got a branch called the ROG, which is Republic of Gamers. And Republic of Gamers are just that. They're designed for high stress workloads. They're designed to be run at high temperature, at high usage, high throughput. They're designed to be overclocked. Like I can't reach the motherboard. But you look at the motherboards, they're chunky. They've got massive heat sinks on them. Like, they're designed to be given a hard time. It's all the gaming stuff. You can buy ROG keyboards and mice, and you just feel them in your hands, and they're a solid bit of kit just by how they feel.
Oh, that's my motherboard. It's ROG.
Yeah, and their overclocking is phenomenal. Like, you want to get performance out of a CPU, you go onto their forums, you find yours, and you go, I'll have this setting, give me that setting, update BIOS, done. When you reboot your computer, it's that. it's just phenomenal. But what they've done, gaming phones have become a thing in the last couple of years as people begin to use their mobile devices more and more, and consoles and PCs less and less. Asus Republic of Gamers were one of the first companies to release a gaming phone. Didn't make it to Australia, although I have seen reviews of it. It was really huge in India and places like that. This time though, they've released their second phone into Australia, the Republic phone, the ROG Phone 2, because the other one was called the ROG Phone. So, okay, their development is not necessarily related to the marketing department. They don't have the same creativity. The Asus Republic Game Phone 2 comes packed with all the specs, perfect for gamers, having been designed from the ground up specifically for gaming. It's powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus alongside 12 gig of RAM, 512 gig of UFS 3 onboard storage. For those who don't know, the UFS storage is the step up from SSD. It's basically effectively SCSI. It's what I'm actually running in this system. I'm running twin UFS in RAID 1, so I'm getting some insane
ridiculous
throughput. It literally doesn't even register on the chart. It's that fast. But so it's like the fastest that you can get, and would be bottlenecked by the RAM most likely. When the ROG phone was released in July, it was the first device in the world to be launched commercially with the SD855 chipset. Graphics are driven by the Adreno 640 GPU, giving the device faster display while making it more power efficient. As for that power efficiency, with a battery of 6,000 milliamps or 6 amp hours, efficiency may not seem important, especially when it can be topped up with their 30-watt ROG hypercharge power adapter. The charging port is located on the side of the device, which is finally that's much better than having it on the bottom. It means you can actually put your phone in landscape and it's not on the stupid.
So
the display is
not the side that the power plugs in. Then you can't put it on that side landscape.
No, it'd be on the side where the buttons are, because you don't want your buttons down anyway.
Yep.
Displays 6.6 inch 1080 by 230 by 2340 AMOLED display. One thing you'd expect for a gaming phone is for it to get hot under extreme power, the CPU and GPU, but Asus that cover with multiple solutions. Firstly, they have a newly designed 3D vapor chamber that is more effective than first generation at removing heat. They've also included a new aeroactive cooler with new fan blades deliver more airflow through the device while at the same time being 4 times quieter than the first generation. Your
what
mobile.
the heck is that picture?
There's also
OMG.
there's also the Air Trigger 2 ultrasonic sensors, dual surround vibration technology, along with dual front-facing stereo speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
It's nuts.
There you go. So basically, it's expands. See the slit down the middle. So it's basically a Bluetooth. See, it's got a split down here, so you can expand it out and stick your phone in the middle.
Oh, it's the Nokia N-Gage.
But it's separate. It's not part of it.
No.
It's the Bluetooth controller. It basically turns your phone into a PlayStation, into a Dreamcast. Here in Australia, the phone comes bundled, including the ROG Phone 2, ROG Kunai gamepad, bumper controllers and holder, Aero Active Cooler 2, and Aero case. The controllers can be attached to either the Kunai holder for standalone gamepad or added to the bumper to add physical gamepad controls to the phone. As for the regular Pro phone, the ROG comes with Bluetooth 5, NFC, 24 meg front-facing camera, and dual rear with 48 meg and 13 meg lenses. Under display fingerprint sensor, and looks to be a compelling device. The phone will be available exclusively through JB Hi-Fi, which is kind of a weird choice, but anyway. From the 13th of December, with the above bundle setting you back $1,699.
All the phones are premium now. At least it's like half the price
At
of
least, yeah.
foldable and Samsung.
And it would be worth it. I just want it because it has a fan. Your phone has a freaking fan in it, man.
You know what you and me gonna do with it though?
What's that?
Put MAME on there.
Yeah, and use it as a
and play
emulator.
the old games.
But why wouldn't you? See, you can use that like that and have your phone sitting in a separate cradle. So when you're sitting at traffic lights, you can still play games because you're not touching your phone.
Yeah.
Or you can have it like that when you actually want to hold it. That's awesome. Like that's yes, please, all the yeses.
You can play Super Mario Brothers on there.
I was watching.
I think it's got the power for it.
Yeah, I was watching a thing the other day. Somebody put Doom on one of the first digital cameras. The processor in the digital camera was powerful enough to play Doom.
Nice.
So yeah. So look, normally I steer away from this sort of stuff, but Republica Gamers being what they are, and the technology in this thing, like it's stupid. I mean, and with that
insanely cool.
With the 6 amp hour battery, I was reading some of the reviews. They reckon you can literally game for like 12 hours straight.
Wow.
That's
enough to get you to work and back, and while you're at work, and
so I reckon you'd be pretty hard pressed to, especially if you weren't gaming, be pretty hard pressed to go through your battery in a day. I'd reckon.
Yeah.
Given that on mine, I think this has got a 3800 or a 4 amp hour battery, something like that from memory. And like if I run a full screen intensive game like Minecraft, you can, like, after half an hour, the phone's that hot you can hardly touch it, and you've used like 50% of your battery.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if there's a feature like the cold day feature where you can just loads up the GPU and the CPU, and you can press the button and it turns the fan on. You can just like put it in your pocket and keep your hand warm.
Probably.
Put it in your shirt pocket.
Someone will do a little app to do that for you.
Put it in your shirt pocket, and you can just like warm up your chest.
I got warm beebs.
What else do you have for us, sir?
Now, you think that's a cool phone? Well,
I do.
We'll stick with the phones. Roberto Escobar, brother of the late drug lord Pablo Escobar, has announced you would trust somebody like that, right? The brother of a drug lord has announced a foldable smartphone to take on Samsung's Galaxy Fold and the Huawei Mate X. the Escobar Fold 1. Dun dun dun. While all the foldable phones announced so far have a price tag of at least 1,500 plus US, the Escobar Fold 1 will be available from only $349, which includes free shipping and a case as well. They'll be sold unlocked and work on all compatible networks worldwide. This makes it cheaper than other non-foldable flagship smartphones available in the market right now. The drug lord's brother has been able to price the phone so low by cutting out the middlemen like networks and retailers. He's also prepping to file a $30 billion class action lawsuit against Apple for scamming people and wants the company to give some of their illegal profits back to the people. Like the Huawei Mate X, the Escobar Fold can be unfolded to turn it into a tablet with a screen size of 7.8 inches. The expanded AMOLED display has a 4:3 aspect ratio and a FHD plus resolution. The design language is different from the Samsung Galaxy Fold, which features two separate displays, one of which folds. The full specs of the Escobar Fold 1 are as follows. Display 7.8-inch FHD plus foldable AMOLED. Chipset octa-core 2.8 GHz Snapdragon 855. CPU Adreno 640, same as the previous phone Mr. T was talking about. Camera 16 megapixel f1.8 and 20 megapixel f1.8 OIS. RAM 6 or 8 gigabytes LPDDR4X. Storage 128 or 512 gig and micro SD card slot. Battery 4000 milliamp hours. Connectivity dual SIM, 4G LTE, Wi-Fi AC, USB-C, and Android 9.0. And he reckons is going to be less chance of it breaking than the Samsung ones because it is special technology.
Yeah, I was just showing the CNN clip there from the Samsung ones where like reviewers it broke before they even got a chance to play with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually like. I mean,
looks nice.
I love the headline. Pablo Escobar's brother released a foldable smartphone that he claims can only be destroyed by fire. I wonder why. You know, but I mean, look, they say it's starting at $349.
Yep.
Even if that's US, that's what, $550, something like that.
Yeah.
If that's true for a foldable, that's pretty insane, to be honest.
Yeah.
But his looks like it folds lengthways, like everybody else's has done the.
Is there anything in the video showing how it folds?
Not his, no. But his looks like it folds. Looking at that picture, it looks like it's clamshell, and then opens lengthways, whereas everyone else seems to fold like that, whereas his seems to fold like that. Which may, I mean, if you think about it, you've got much less of an area being affected by it being folded. Yep. So it does sort of make sense that would be a more durable way of doing it. The only downside, oh no, that'd work. If you took that phone and folded it in half, it's now actually, you know, it's about the size of a pack of cigarettes, a lot thinner, but about that height. So that would actually fit in your pocket quite well.
All right, I'll send you a link in Facebook to a video showing the folding with some sexy models in lingerie, of course, that you have to sell a phone with sexy models in it.
Now you're going to throw me completely out of whack, aren't you? I can't swap pages because then everybody will see my login. We'll just fill this dead air here for a second while we're...
Yeah, so it does fold across how you said it would, across the middle. Jump to about halfway, you can skip the boobs, I guess.
Well, I mean, we've got to have something for people to watch. Nothing else here for them to watch.
What a sexy phone.
That's massive.
Yeah. It's like an iPad mini.
It's like you've got a phablet around... Wait. That's so huge. Why... Okay, I guess that just raises more questions than it answers, honestly. But where was that? Yeah, there it is there. So, if you look on the left,
what?
You can see it folded in half.
Oh.
So yeah, but it looks like it folds in half backwards, so the screen's actually on the outside. If you look at that,
way you can still use it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Like, but there, that's a completely different shot. See, there it's folded lengthways. It's folded on the left. It's folded. Oh no, I don't know.
Could be the same. There's another video a bit further down. I don't know if it's got anything better.
Who knows? The Escobar fold. Let's just scroll through this because here we go. This one looks a little bit more.
Oh, that's a different thing. It's a concept one.
No, yeah.
I've lost the video.
Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. As I said, like I if you work in an office, a foldable phone's probably fine.
Yep.
But in reality, if you if you work, anything that's hard labor or manual labor or, exposed to the elements or something where you got dirty hands or you got
the most rugged Android phone in a life-proof case.
Yeah, I work in a warehouse. Admittedly, it's around battery house, but I work in a warehouse and, like, I've dropped this thing so many times, it's not even funny. It's actually got a glass screen protector on it, and it has...
Don't tell the insurance company.
This is about my fourth screen protector. Like, it shatters those, but the phone's been bulletproof. But that's like... I would have a very hard time believing that a folding phone is going to stand up to that sort of environment.
Whereas I work from home in the office up the other end of this hallway, so it'd be fine for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I could sit there and watch videos. No, I wouldn't watch videos while I'm working.
You go to your coffee, go and get a coffee, and you've got a workable size device. While you're on the road, you've got a normal phone, and then when you sit down and have your coffee and read your paper, you've got an actual device you can see.
If it ran Android Linux, I could SSH into the office at work.
Yeah. Well, you can do that on...
run a browser on it.
You can do that on Android anyway.
Like every time I plug my phone into charge and it plugs into the MacBook hub, it says, "Hi, why don't you launch Samsung Dex?" No. "Hi, why wouldn't you launch Samsung Dex?" No, stop telling. I know I can launch Samsung Dex. I don't need a notification every time I plug it in.
You can disable that.
I'm not going to try it because I don't want to.
You can disable that. So, I'll tell you what, I don't know what they've updated the Google Home and Google Minis lately, but the Google Mini in the lounge room has been false triggering something fierce the last few days. Absolutely ridiculous. We're watching a TV...
You meant upgrade because I got the Nest version, which is the newest hardware release.
Yeah, it's not that... The only real thing going for it's got better sound, but mine's hooked up through my stereo anyway, so... Yeah, well, that's right, exactly. So,
Now, so you're going to get the Drug Lord phone or the Asus ROG phone?
If I had the money, I'd get the ROG. See, just knowing the quality of their products, I know that if I bought that phone, it's going to be a 5-year phone. That's just what that's how they function,
But if you don't have the money, get the Drug Lord one because it's probably going to track you less than one from Google or Apple or anyone else.
Yeah, well, all the tracking by default's turned off.
Yeah, because they definitely don't want anyone tracking them. They'll make it as unhackable as possible so they can't find out who your drug contacts are.
That's it, exactly. Honestly, I would get the Xiaomis.
Yep.
The Xiaomis, the Mi Notes, whatever. Like, they would be the phone I'm going to get. Like, they've got their new Note 10. And it's the Mi Note 10, world's first 108 megapixel penta camera. It's got 6.4 AMOLED, fingerprint, all that, 30 watt fast charge. It's got a 5.5 milliamp hour battery, NFC, 50 by digital zoom, 10 by high vid, 12 meg portrait camera. 108 megapixel high resolution cameras, 20 megapixel ultra wides. Yeah, it's got optical. 2 megapixel macro camera. Yeah, there's your telephoto.
Nice.
Portrait cameras, ultra wides. Macro. Got their night mode, so it enhances night imaging. It's just so many features. And the hardware specs, I don't know if they've got them here. This Qualcomm Snapdragon 730. And this thing's
Wait, did it have a 3.5 audio jack?
Yeah.
Oh,
and a
one of the
USB
few
Type-C.
left.
Yep. And so it's got an IR port, so you can do IR
Oh,
blaster.
that's even better. No, I'd get it just for that.
Yeah.
I don't care about NFC.
NFC is good for some things. But, yeah, and I think this thing's... I did look up the price. It's so cheap for what it is. I'll look it up in a sec. I just have to do something like that. But yeah, it's 700 and well, actually, you can get it for as little as 650 on catch.com.au at the moment.
There you go. Quick, go buy
So-
now. Use the offer code Mr. T.
So
ATH.
you're gonna pay 700. Let's throw shipping and whatever. So $700 for that.
Yep.
As opposed to what's the new Samsung Note 15, 1600. The new iPhone's what 1800 or something.
Yep.
You know, so I'll take that, and that's their like flagship, top of the range, no better phone. You can get the Note like 4 or 5, which is still like a something insane Snapdragon 12 core, 64 gig of RAM and 512 gig of storage, and that thing's down to like $185 now.
Yep.
So there's absolutely no reason to, I'd
There's
take
a lot of
something.
choice out now, isn't there?
Oh, there really is. And the thing is, okay, yes, it's a Chinese phone, but it's also like insanely popular. It's not like a Chinese manufacturer that's got 12 people who buy their phones.
Yeah.
They're such good quality phones now that I'd have zero hesitation in buying one.
Yeah, you've been talking about Xiaomi for years.
Just because of their what they do, they just keep on. What a new Samsung comes out every 18 months, something like that.
Yep.
Or a big update comes out every 2 to 3 years, but they release a new flagship phone every 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's so different than the last one. It's not like it's just a little tiny improvement. It's actually worth being called a flagship release,
It doesn't have an S on it because it's
Yeah,
sexy.
yeah, exactly. You got another story there?
Mozilla removed 4 Firefox extensions made by Avast and its subsidiary AVG, who we talked about lots on this show recently, after receiving credible reports that the extensions were harvesting user data and browsing histories. The 4 extensions are Avast Online Security, AVG Online Security, Avast Safe Price, and AVG Safe Price. The first 2 extensions that show warnings when navigating to known malicious or suspicious sites, while the last 2 are extensions for online shoppers showing price comparisons, deals, and available coupons. Mozilla removed the 4 extensions from its add-on portals after receiving a report from Vladimir Palant, the creator of AdBlock Plus ad blocking extension. Palant analyzed the Avast Online Security and AVG Online Security extensions in late October and found the 2 were collecting much more data than they needed to work, including detailed user browsing history, a practice prohibited by both Mozilla and Google. He published a blog post on October 28 detailing his findings, but in a blog post dated recently, he said he found the same behavior in the Avast and AVG Safe Price extensions as well. Seeing his original blog post didn't get the traction he hoped, and neither browser maker intervened to take down the extensions on their own accord, Palant said he reported the extensions to Mozilla developers yesterday, hoping the organization would take action, which it did, removing all 4 add-ons within 24 hours, and hence why just before this show started, I installed Panda.
Finally, I got you on the Panda.
Yeah, I've got it on all my little
Yep.
computers.
I've been using
And
Panda
Dad's
for
one
years.
I put on there last Tuesday. I put on Dad's computer, and now I just switched it on my desktop. I use hardly any resources, and it's funny because when I uninstalled Avast, it said, "So please tell us why you're going away. Are you just
Yeah.
reinstalling it or are you unstalling it?" I said, "Well, you use up a lot of resources, and apparently you're stealing my data."
Yeah, that's it. And I've known that for a while. If you watch when you installed AVG or Avast, if you watched the traffic, like you look at the cookies and stuff that they did, it was insane. I never installed them. Like I'd always remove those plugins for that exact reason. But yeah, Panda, like the biggest problem okay, Panda's awesome. I've been using Panda since I got my Asus EPC.
Hang on, you have to switch to the Mr. T screen for the rant.
That's not a rant. Not really.
Sure, it's not.
Yeah, I got my Asus EPC back in, when was that? When did that come out? 2010? Back when they had the Intel Atom 1.4, yeah, whenever that was.
Yep.
So, but I use Panda on that. So that's how long I've been using Panda. And Panda's awesome. Like, it's free, it's fast. The biggest problem with it, it has a nag screen that pops up.
Not as bad as the Avast one that popped up so often.
Yeah.
Hi, we noticed that your computer is being bogged down by the following 65 programs. Hi, we noticed that you've got extensions and plugins and this sort of stuff. We want to delete. Hi, we want to delete all your cookies. Hi, did you know that we blocked 60 billion viruses in the last microsecond? You should pay us money.
Yeah, I mean, but Panda, they do, because they've got obviously the different plans, like the free, which is the one I use, because it's literally,
$5.
It's literally antivirus protection with firewall and a free VPN. Mm-hmm. But you can pay, $5 a month gets you can have it on a Mac or Android. It actually monitors the Wi-Fi network for malicious traffic and does USB devices and stuff like that as well. Then obviously it goes up from there, but it lives in your start bar, which I can't show in the screenshot because it doesn't come up, but it lives in your start bar, and if you click on, right-click on it and say enter gaming mode, what it'll do, it'll stop the pop-ups. Because when you're gaming, obviously, you don't want to pop up over a full-screen game because it can crash the game. I never want it to pop up. Yeah, so if you enter gaming mode, I think it resets every... I read 24 hours, but mine's been longer than that so far. It hasn't done it. But even if it is 24 hours, once a day, you right-click on it and go into gaming mode, and it stops the little nag screens. But no, Panda's really small. Like, I think let me have a quick look, see if I can find it in my downloads folder here. Panda is... can I quickly find it? Yeah, there we go. 2 meg.
Wow. That take up half your bloody hard drive.
Yeah, Avast and AVG were several hundred meg anyway. And back in the day, they've changed this a little bit. There's actually, but when you use the Android version, I believe, it does what Panda used to do back when Panda was being started. It actually kept all the virus definitions and kept everything online.
All right.
And when it went to do a scan, it would just quickly grab them, hold them in memory, do a scan, then get rid of them. That way, it didn't take up all your system resources, doing updates and stuff like that. So it was very, very lightweight for that reason. But it's still lightweight. Like it's it's quick. It's easy to install.
My little HP mini notebook thing. It takes up hardly any space.
Yeah, that's right. That's great. I mean, once again, not a paid advert, but
they should sponsor us.
I don't have a problem using it. It's certainly something that I use regularly. Speaking of people who should sponsor us, who's this Aussie Bite person in the middle here who we don't talk about?
This one down here. Aussie Bite. They make really great watch apps for your Fitbit.
Go and check them out, and if you've got a Fitbit, if you're one of those rich people who have a Fitbit and can afford to have a Fitbit.
I've got a Fitbit Ionic and a Fitbit Versa in the cupboard there, and this is the Fitbit Versa 2. I know people who have got Fitbits. But check out some faces there. They're pretty cool. They're good fun. Yep. So the news it's been really weird. I've been reading a lot of stories. I'm like, this sounds really familiar. Then you go and check it, and like a week or two ago, they literally released exactly the same story. So I don't know what's happening with the news cycle at the moment, but it's really bizarre. But I was reading that Optus, and I'm literally just trying to find the story because I accidentally closed it. Optus has just been fined. There we go.
No, that's not it. That's the other one where they're switching out CEOs because this other guy keeps getting them fined, apparently. This is another part of the story that I'll read as soon as I've found it anyway. NBN, because we all love a good NBN story. NBN seeing over 500,000 service faults annually from a 5.5 million connections. So that's a lot. That's like what, a quarter? I can't do math in my head in a hurry, but that's like a sixth of the population has faults with their NBN. The National Broadband Network has revealed to the extent of which received service faults, telling Senate estimates via an answer to questionnaire on notice that at the end of the fiscal year it received 501,600 service faults. At June 30th, the NBN had just over 5.5 million active services. So the faults included incidents caused by external factors such as weather events, but did not break out the number. Over the same time period, the number of calls made to NBN's call centre topped 386,000. So of those 500,000 faults, 400,000 of them were reported. So the other 100,000, they went, oh, this has been going on long enough, we better tell somebody.
You have less weather problems with the National Broadband Network if you had a complete fibre optic network.
You mean an underground fibre optic network?
Yeah. As opposed to the mishmash of crap we got now that still has faults if it rains.
But isn't that what the tax will do? It'll fix that.
Oh, yeah.
The company also broke down its active services on October 31st by technology. Of the 6.2 million active services, hang on, didn't they just say 5.5?
Yep.
But apparently now it's 6.
While you're reading the article. That's how many people are signing up, Guy.
So apparently it's 6.2 now. 877,000 were brownfields fibre to the premises. 473,000 had greenfields fibre to the premises. 2.85 million received fibre to the node. And 125 million, I think it's supposed to be a point in there, 1.25 million had hybrid fibre coaxial connections, and 353 had fibre to the curb. Beyond fixed line connections, 296,000 premises had fixed wireless, and 97,000 were connected via satellite.
You know what the weirdest thing when people got connected to NBN were the people who were on cable network that had 100 meg down, and then the NBN came in and said, sorry, your cable network is being thrown out. We're going to give you 25 meg NBN. And they're like, but we have cable. It does 100. No, we're not going to let you use that. We're going to knock you down to 25. You can pay an extra $10 a month, by the way, because it's called NBN, but you're only going to get a quarter of what you did before.
Yep, I was one of those people.
And
I was on Optus cable. And keeping in mind that Optus cable was longer runs than the NBN cable, usually has shared a bigger area on the cable and was carrying Optus TV at the time as well because it wasn't satellite.
Yep.
And I was still getting 25 up and 100 down.
Yep.
And sometimes more, but I was getting that continuously and without fault. And then the NBN came around and I paid more to be on a copper connection because they couldn't do cable in the area.
Which was already there. And it was $15.25 or something. So it's like, and I was put on a data cap. So hang on, none of this makes sense. What? Who designed this? So, but yeah, so basically, the NBN sucks, I guess, is what they're getting at. That's their proof. We all knew it years ago, but
yeah. I mean, I still remember back when the NBN was first being talked about. I think it was a French or Italian company said, "Hey, we can do the entire country in like 2 years, and for this amount of money." And the government went, "No, get away. We'll do it ourselves."
Yep.
And they're literally just going to float
$70 billion.
Yeah, and they're literally just going to float optic fibre through the sewer lines and pick up in every house and run them out of the sewer line at every house.
Yep.
And it's going to take them no time to do it, and it's going to be super cheap to do it.
No, that's a terrible idea.
So, alrighty.
Good night.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just looked at the time, I think We've been going long enough.
Thanks for listening to the Aussie Tech Heads Show broadcast weekly. We can be found at facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, twitter.com/Aussie Tech Heads, youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads, and we're going to set up some Twitch and Facebook dedicated pages for our live streaming. If we dare do this again.
Depends if Glenn threatens me with my life or not, like he promised to.
Well, he will now, because it's going to be like, you've just upped the quality like 100-fold, and next week's show is going to be terrible because it's just going to be pre-recorded like usual.
I might rent out my studio to him.
Yeah. Email us, Glenn, Will, and Warlock at aussietechheads.com.au. You can hear Aussie Tech Heads on Aussie Tech Radio, 24/7 back-to-back play of some of the best tech-related shows from around Australia and New Zealand. New shows are added each Friday, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
See ya.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.